Welcome to One World Observatory. My name is Michaela. I'm one of the tour ambassadors here. We also have my friends Mike and Ben here today. And if you have any questions about New York City, please come ask us those questions. Feel free to point at a building, a bridge, and say, what is that? And we'll tell you what it is. Or if you need any advice or directions, we're happy to provide that as well. And throughout the day, we like to put on these shows. So we use this rig of screens called City Pulse. And it's going to help me tell you some stories about New York, and I promise you're going to leave knowing what it is that you are looking at right now. So this is City Pulse. So up here on floor 100 of One World Trade Center, there are some days that we're literally in the clouds. But with City Pulse, I'll show you New York in a closer way. I can show you the New York of the past and the city of today, and how New York has evolved and changed. And I'll tell you some stories about New York, and here in the city that never sleeps, stories happen at every hour of the day and on every corner of our map. So I'm going to use a map to show you where we are right now. You are on an island, it's called Manhattan, and when I say New York City, this is what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the island of Manhattan. It's really long, it's 13 miles long, and it's really skinny too. It's only 2.5 miles wide at its widest point. Where we are right now on Manhattan, we would call this downtown. And by downtown, we just mean south, on the southern part of the island. Anything north of us right now would be uptown. So I encourage you to try and replace the directions in your mind. North and south have become uptown and downtown. And you can't get much farther downtown than where we are right now. This is the financial district. At the very edge of Manhattan is Battery Park, and then behind me is a lot of water. It's New York's Upper Bay, and it is the largest natural harbor in the entire country. Now around Manhattan, this bay splits to form two rivers. We have the East River on our left, and on your right, that one's called the Hudson River. Now when I say New York City, yes, this is what you're thinking about, Manhattan. But this is not New York City. Or I should say, this is not all of New York City. There's a lot of stuff going on in New York. 5 different counties, we call them boroughs, about 300 square miles of land to the city of New York. Now those other boroughs are surrounding us out over here. This is all part of New York City. Manhattan is by far the smallest out of all 5 counties in the city of New York. Across the East River, you're looking out onto Long Island. Long Island is a long island. That's exactly what it is. It's 100 miles long, and on Long Island, there are 2 other boroughs. That would be Queens and Brooklyn. So out the windows on your left, looking all the way down to the bridge in the distance, this is the borough of Brooklyn, and this is New York City's most populated borough. It's got about 2.7 million people, and you can compare that to, say, Chicago. The whole city of Chicago could fit just Brooklyn, New York. On its own, it would be one of the largest cities in the United States, still to this day. We have 3 bridges that link Lower Manhattan over to neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Those bridges are probably most famously the Brooklyn Bridge. That's the one nearest to us. Then there's the Manhattan Bridge, and the third one up, the Williamsburg Bridge. So just remember the acronym BMW, like the car, and you'll be able to identify those bridges that connect Lower Manhattan and Brooklyn. Now up above Brooklyn is our city's largest borough. It's called Queens. And in Queens, we have both airports. So it's very likely you've spent a little bit of time there. JFK's on the south side, LaGuardia's on the north side, and in the middle, a bunch of people that represent the most ethnically diverse population of New York City. That means you can try food from all over the world. You can hear hundreds of different languages and dialects in Queens. We also play a lot of sports in Queens. We have the U.S. Open every year at Arthur Ashe Stadium, that's center court, and the New York Mets, one of our 2 baseball teams, they call Queens their home. So most New Yorkers live in these 2 boroughs, Brooklyn and Queens. Again, they're on an island. It is called Long Island. You're on an island right now with about 1.5 million New Yorkers. That's not the most populated borough, but it is certainly the most densely populated. Manhattan feels the most crowded. There's even more people than that living up to the north of Manhattan in the borough called the Bronx. And the Bronx is the only one of New York City's boroughs that's not on an island. It's actually on the mainland of New York State. In the Bronx, you're going to find our biggest parks, our botanical garden for the city. Also, the best zoo in New York is for sure the Bronx Zoo. And the Yankees play in the Bronx. Sometimes they're known as the Bronx Bombers. That's where you're going to find Yankee Stadium. Now there's one more borough. It's the least populated borough, and it feels a little detached from the rest of New York City. Occasionally we'll call this one the forgotten borough. So out in the distance you'll see the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. It of course has Brooklyn on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side of that bridge, that's Staten Island. So Staten Island is part of New York, but it doesn't always feel like it, in that it only has 500,000 people, and it's twice the size of Manhattan, nearly 2.5 times the size of Manhattan. So a lot of people on Staten Island drive a car to get around. They might even live in a full house and have a yard and a driveway. It's got a more suburban feel overall. Also important to note, you cannot take the subway to Staten Island. The only direct connection between our two boroughs is a boat called the Staten Island Ferry. And it runs every single half hour. I just saw one leave Lower Manhattan. It's a big orange boat. They go 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Here's the best part about that ferry though, it's for free. So if you need something to do and you would like to not spend any money, you should absolutely take a ride on the Staten Island Ferry. You're legally allowed to drink alcohol on board if that interests you. You get great views of the skyline and the Statue of Liberty, $0, no ticket necessary. So again, that is New York City. 5 different counties. We got Manhattan, we have Staten Island, Brooklyn,